right, we are live. What's up? I don't know how many of you are going to come on. I don't usually do lives on YouTube, but here I am. I'm giving it a shot. I usually do them on Instagram, but I'll give you guys some love if there's anyone on here. But anyway, I'm doing a little bit of cardio here. Post-leg workout cardio, if you want to call it that, because in between doing legs, I went and had an IV, had B vitamins, B complex, B12, taurine, high dose glutathione, etc. And then did a little bit of gardening work, a bit of weeding, a bit of mowing, a bit of strimming. And now I'm flushing my legs a little bit. And what I found is if I do cardio every day, regardless of if I'm in a quote unquote bulk or if I'm leaning out, my ability to recover and perform with more ferocity and more frequency is enhanced, it's optimized. And I believe just having an increase in nutrient-rich blood and oxygen-rich blood to the localized areas that I've just traumatized in the gym, I'm able to recover a little bit better. Now, of course, there's the point of no return, or there's a caveat to that, where is if you take it a little bit too far, you do too much cardio, you burn yourself out. You know, you're not going to be able to recover enough. So it goes, you know, you have to use a little bit of common sense and instinct. You know, you can't be getting ready for an Ironman and train with the same frequency and the volume that you usually do. You have to kind of cut it back a little bit. So I usually do anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes, dependent on the type of cardio, the intensity of the cardio, and my ability to recover from sleep. So sleep is always the priority. Okay, there's a few of you on. Hey, James, Apavide. Sorry, it's a little bit hard for me to read while I'm on a Stairmaster bouncing about. From India. Are you a fan of Redder? For myself personally, no. But for clients, yes. So dependent on the client, dependent on what's needed for them. If they deal with a lot of food noise, yes. Out of all the GLPs I do, I don't know if you listen to my podcast, the Kris Gethin podcast. So I talk about the GLP-1, aka semaglutide Ozempic, and I talk about GLP-2, aka tirzepatide Mounjaro, and I talk about GLP-3, aka retatrutide. I've devoted a podcast to each one of those products. So if you listen to that, I break it down and talk about the positives and negatives of each one. But if you listen to it, yeah, you'll see that I lean towards Redder out of all of those for the reasons that I explained in the Kris Gethin podcast. Sup, bro, you should go to Kerala. I've been to Kerala. So I don't know who told you that I hadn't been there. I'll listen to them. Sure, thank you very much. So what did I talk about last week? Can't remember. Oh yeah, I talk about creatine, why creatine is superior to creatine, and I break down the science and the studies and the reasoning for it. Next week or the week after, I have an episode on glutathione, why I think it's imperative that everybody uses glutathione, whether you're the elderly, whether you're a performance-based athlete, or you're trying to improve immunity and longevity and energy. Hi Chris, how much compound lifts should I focus on versus isolation for maximum strength and hypertrophy? So when I'm working with clients, it's all dependent on the client, and it's all dependent on their ability to recover. So I track their heart rate variability, I track the sleep to ensure they're not raising cortisol too much. So there's a lot of metrics that I kind of look at, but of course you need to be probably focusing more so on 70% compounds versus 30% isolation. But it's all dependent if you feel those compounds over the isolation and what those compounds should be. So for instance, I personally don't like barbell bench press. I love dumbbell bench press. So again, it's all different. What are the top 3 advice you give to a 19-year-old guy who's building himself for a world Guinness record for 120 push-ups in 1 minute and building his core. So of course you want to work on the explosiveness of your concentric and your ability to work very, very fast on the negatives and strengthening up your tendons and ligaments. So on the explosive, you need to work, obviously, your type 1 muscle fibers. But of course, you have to work your type 2, A and B as well, knowing that this is going to be an endurance run. Getting to 100 repetitions, you have to target both of those. And then your ability to recover so you can increase the frequency of that work. And it wouldn't just come from push-ups. It's going to be coming from dumbbell bench press. Sorry, the wind is taking some of my rubbish outside. You'd still work other movements like your flies, your cable movements, variation of movements as well as your push-ups. And for your core, of course, a lot of plank work. And that wouldn't just be on the floor, that would be on like a Bosu ball, a medicine ball, etc. To be honest with you, bro, I truly hate the barbell row. Hurts my lower back and just doesn't feel right. But people swear by it, then it's not an exercise for you, is it? It's not an exercise for you. So maybe you'd want to do a chest-supported barbell row or a chest-supported dumbbell row or a chest-supported T-bar row, you know? So, you know, it's like everybody swears by the squat. Do you ever see me squat? No, it hurts my back. If you've seen, hold on, I'm just gonna get this, I gotta get this paper that's been blown outside. I actually have an x-ray of my back here. So people don't understand what I've been able to go through with all my injuries and structural imperfections. Or it was out here, maybe sunshine moved it. Yeah, it's here. So I'm sure you can see how straight a spine should be in the pelvis. And you can see how much of a curvature that I have. So it basically, this is a reflection of what my spine is, but it curves dramatically to the left about an inch over what it should be. So, of course, if I do any heavy squats, if I do any heavy shrugs, then obviously that is impacting my spine even more. So squats, bread and butter, not for me. So if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. Okay, so I am focusing on movement variation, push-ups, usually no push-ups, wide push-ups, handstand push-ups, almost 20 in one row, diamond push-ups, leg workout, calisthenics, yeah, and do staggered push-ups as well. So one arm in front, the other one behind. One on a ball, the other one not, and then you swap it. So that you work in that explosiveness, the better, and work on a negative as well. So maybe you've got 2 benches there so you can go further beyond your normal stretch. So give that a shot. The more variation you can do, the better in that regards. All right, let me just go out and get my gloves. Any more guys? So I haven't been back long. I've been traveling, obviously. I was in Wales. I was in Italy last weekend. I was in LA or earlier this week. A lot of travel being done. So now I'm doing the fun stuff of weeding. Here, this is what I've been doing. Making an absolute mess of the garden. Now I got to get some seed out here. Thanks, brother. And when I do deadlifts, my lower back gets so sore so fast I can't lift anymore. Do I have a weak core? Well, no. Maybe you should do your deadlifts at the end of your workout. So it's quite normal for you to get such a pump there that it hurts. So like I experienced that during my leg workout today. So in between sets, I was on the floor stretching my lower back and using a foam roller. So of course I wasn't able to keep the intensity that I like to do or like to keep up during the workout with very short rest periods. But the main thing is sometimes that it gets like you get that crazy pump and pain and tightness that you just have to take that time out to roll, foam roll, stretch, get massage. I like to use red light therapy. I use something called the Lumaflex. That really, really helps. So, you know, you do whatever you can. Thanks so much. Never thought I could be talking to you one-on-one. Of course, appreciate it, mate. All right, well, I'm gonna have to put you guys down because I'm gonna have to go back outside and do a little more gardening over here. As you can see, I got quite a lot I've got to get through over there, and this is just the front of the house. So thank you very much, guys. Knowing that there's a few here on YouTube, I'll do a little bit more of these. Okay, have yourself a phenomenal rest of your weekend. Make the start of the week strong.